I'm procrastinating, therefore I make another video. Yeah, it got in my head the topic of the fighters because I've been following combat sports more or less intense since 20 years or something. And suddenly I start to combine my psychological background knowledge that I recently acquired. And it's, of course, in this case, rather about the masculinity. I'm not watching um, the female fighters and athletes. It's just not my cup of tea. So, but I think everybody can learn something from it. I mean, masculinity is not limited to the male gender, just like femininity is not gender locked. I also just remembered something that Jordan Peterson said, and hate him or love him, I don't care. Some things these people say is certainly at least considerable, you know. Yeah, he said young men need to, and it doesn't matter that he said it, just let me get to the point. Young men need to learn to find a way to channel their aggression. It's naturally given a gift. It's a gift to be able to confront dangers by being aggressive, okay? It's a gift of nature, of life. We need this. And he said that many American, especially blacks, but it doesn't matter. And you see, I have to use these categories now, even though I don't like them. But a lot of them growing up in the ghetto, and it of course should not be linked to skin color, right? So many young Americans, and it doesn't even be linked to Americans, many young people become criminals because they have no perspective and their energy is not channeled into any direction. In other words, what a lot of young men would need would be to go to the military. I'm not saying the military is all good. It can happen that they get into racistic structures there as well, or sexistic structures. But we are not living in a perfect world. In a dream la la land world, it's not possible. We need some toughness from somewhere. We don't have initiation rites in the civilized, so-called civilized world. We need a place to channel our dark personality traits, to find a way to access them, get aware of them, and learn to control them. And the combat sports is another way to do this. So there are many athletes in the combat sports business that would be criminals if they could not live out their aggression in the octagon. One of them is definitely John Strickland. Therefore, I also don't judge fighters if they have narcissistic or psychopathic traits and are sadistic and cruel, like John Strickland. Definitely, he enjoys it, and he speaks this openly. He likes to hurt people in the octagon, yes. But I think it's better he looks for the best of the best in the world and competes with them, and can live his shadow in the octagon instead of engaging in domestic violence, right? Another person, I believe, is Michael Venom Page. These are the fighters of this era now. There are fighters from 20, 30, 40, 50 years back. They were always there. Some of them were cruel and sadistic and cocky and try to use backhanded tactics in the ring. Yeah, but the actual examples that I have of this time now would be John Strickland, Michael Venom Page, Conor McGregor. Yeah, and it's better they find a way to contribute to society by this is entertainment industry, and it's a way to for them also to have structure. They are training super hard every day. They can drink, you know, a lot of the fighters, like also Alex Pereira, he started fighting to quit an alcohol addiction, and he is the best fighter in the world right now, Alex Pereira. So this shows that young men often have toxic sides, self-destructive, like drinking alcohol, or um, destructive to the outside, aggressive ways that would lead to domestic violence if they would not find a structure and a place to use their aggression for society. And this can be combat sports, and this can be military. It can also be anything else that is physically engaging and channeling the energy of the young men. In other words, if you have people in a country, young men, you don't give them the opportunity to work and contribute to society, you create definitely criminals. But let's not get into this topic. But why did I also choose the fight, the legendary fight between Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov? Not only because Conor McGregor is both a cat person and a grin person, so outside the octagon, he is using the traits of the cat person to get of the grin person to get in people's head and act out his narcissistic fantasy, while in the ring he shows the cat person the cold, detached, adrenaline resistant, bold, fearless person combined with the sadistic, all in, all pervasive fantasies and sadistic smiles and mocking in the cage and talking and stuff like that. And the fact that Khabib resisted this, not only this is the reason why I choose this fight, also because for the UFC, the company, the fight industry, Conor McGregor was an insane business. He created millions and millions of dollars. Therefore, he was the favorite of them. While Khabib was just a humble fighter that was not interested in the business side. He just did his thing. Therefore, they did not like him that much. He said on public American pay-per-view TV, primetime video, Alhamdulillah, I know you do not like this, okay? So the UFC loved Conor McGregor because he's the cash cow they wanted to milk, and they did. And after Conor McGregor insulted the dead father of Khabib Nurmagomedov, his family, his religion, everything. And therefore, he got into the head of Khabib. He installed an introject, a bad object in Khabib's mind that keeps talking to Khabib. And this created what we call I forgot it. I forgot it. Reactive abuse. And we also, after the fight, by the way, in the original fight video that I shared on my community section, they have cut it out. But on the real tape, on the real event, it escalated after the fight because Khabib jumped out of the cage and attacked Conor's team because they really went too far. They did criminal things and hurt innocent people and stuff like that. But because the UFC loved Conor, they protected Conor and they threatened and punished Khabib for this behavior. So they painted Khabib as a black sheep and a scapegoat. In other words, Conor has created a smear campaign before the fight and insulted and mocked and ridiculed Khabib to the degree that Khabib was going crazy after the fight. It was not enough for him to just win over Conor. He wanted to kill Conor in the cage and he was not allowed to. And then he escalated out of the cage. And then it was framed as if Khabib is the bad boy here. But if you know what happened before of that, all of that, you would say it's very understandable what he did. And therefore it's very interesting and in some way relates to the content of my channel when we talk about narcissistic and psychopathic abuse. Because to the outside, it will often be the same that the victim of the abuse will be pictured as the aggressor or as the crazy person. And the same thing happened to Khabib. Alhamdulillah. I know you don't like this, but it's the truth.